Yes, today we'll discuss about the anatomy of the diaphragm. The diaphragm is a muscular structure that divides the thoracic and abdominal cavity. It lies between the thoracic and abdominal cavity. First of all, we will discuss about the development of the diaphragm. Here you can see this is developing embryo. Here is position of developing pericardium. This is developing pericardium. And this part from here to this portion, this is developing peritoneum. And this part, this is foregut, this is midgut, hindgut. This is pericardium developing, this is peritoneum. From here to here, this part from this point to this point is pericardio peritoneal canal. This is pericardium, this is peritoneal cavity. Between these two cavities, this is a canal, this is known as pericardio-peritoneal canal. In this canal forms pleural cavity, and lung bud grows into this cavity. So this forms the pleural cavity. And here is position of septum transversum. This is septum transversum. Septum transversum. And here is position of developing aorta. This is dorsal aorta, which develops here. This is position of dorsal aorta. So, if you cut a section at this level, like this, you will find this is on both sides of developing foregut, these two structures, pericardio-peritoneal canal. This is pericardio-peritoneal canal. And here is position of foregut. This is developing foregut, this part. Here it forms the esophagus. This is esophagus. And here is position of septum transversum. This is position of septum transversum. And here is mesentery of the developing foregut or developing esophagus. This is ventral mesentery, this is dorsal mesentery. And here is position of this aorta. This is aorta. This is position of aorta. This is body wall. Now you can see developing diaphragm develops from these sources. This is septum transversum. Here are two openings, you can see. These are two openings, and here at the side of opening a membrane is formed. This membrane is known as, here this membrane is pericardio-pleural membrane, and this membrane which lies here, this is pleuroperitoneal membrane. So this is covered by membrane, this is known as pleuroperitoneal membrane. This is pleuroperitoneal membrane. So these two pleuroperitoneal membrane, this is septum transversum. This is ventral and dorsal mesentery of esophagus or developing foregut. This is mesentery. And here is connective tissue around this developing aorta. This is body wall. The tissue from body wall. This is so these structures join to form the diaphragm. If you see in craniocaudal direction, you will find this is position of septum transversum. Septum transversum. This is septum transversum. This cranial to this, there is developing pericardium here, and on each side to this, there is, here is position of this membrane. This is pleuroperitoneal membrane. This is pleuroperitoneal membrane from here to here. This part. This is septum transversum. Septum transversum. This is pleuroperitoneal membrane. And here is body wall. The structure derived from body wall. And this is body wall. This is body wall. And here lies this is pleural cavity in which lung bud grows. So this part is pleuroperitoneal membrane, this is septum transversum, and this part develops from body wall. And in addition to these three structures, there is mesentery of the developing foregut, that is esophagus, dorsal and ventral mesentery. So these structures form the diaphragm. There may be some congenital anomalies due to failure of formation of these structures. Sometimes there is this part anteriorly, there is defect in formation of musculature. This is known as retrosternal space. Sometimes posteriorly this part is undeveloped, then there is hernia is formed, known as Bochdalek hernia or posterolateral defect. This is Bochdalek hernia is formed here, develops here. hernia. And the site of the defect, sometimes this septum transversum may not form here. There may be defect. Sometimes there is lateral side. So these are congenital anomaly associated with the diaphragm. Thank you.